Hello everyone, today we're gonna take a look at the reissued Mafex Spider-Man. So this time the figure has improvements, which is great because the last time I had this figure was the comic paint version and that figure sucked. And I don't have that anymore, but I have other figures to compare here, the Sentinel, even ToyBiz one, and Ben Reilly from Mafex, and a bootleg classic Spider-Man. I have the different hands and head here, and the Marvel Legends one. So that figure had many problems. The wrist joint broke from my figure, but I saw many people breaking their knees, their many different parts. So I wasn't sure if I should get this, but after thinking, okay, they improved now. Also, the Ben Reilly figure was good. I decided to finally get this. And it is also my favorite look of Spider-Man, you can say, the Mark Bagley art. I also like the Mcfarlane version, but this one is really sick, I think. And especially the metallic paint they did this time, I'm a big fan of. I think the last time they were supposed to do that, I mean, at least that's how I saw it from the promo pictures and the box art, but they didn't. Maybe it was a QC issue, I don't know. Or they were planning to do this reissue. So, yeah, if you buy a Mafex figure and if you miss it, don't worry. They will do it again and they will do it better. So sometimes it makes sense to wait. So it looks really cool, the paint itself. And they did the lines better. I think it's not that good still because I will compare it to Ben Reilly. It looks better on the Ben Reilly figure. But I'm glad they did some improvements, even though it's not perfect. On the neck especially, as you can see, there's not much wash there. Paint wash. So I don't know if they really painted on the Ben Reilly figure and just made a wash here. I don't understand why, but yeah, I mean, it could have been better still. It could have been more improvement here. Here on the side, you can see the lenses are not painted that good. On this side, again, I mean, that could have been better. On the back, oh, it's all right, but yeah. Still, I'm happy I got this figure. And the plastic quality feels better. Changing the hands are not so scary anymore. Also, one thing they did is putting the hands on this plastic piece. So when you have them always there, the holes are not going to change with the temperature. It's not going to be harder. It's always going to be more flexible, you can say, to change the hands. So that's great. They did that. So you don't have to worry about this so much anymore. Still, you got to be careful. Also with the arms and the legs. And I have a gap here, which is really disturbing. It's like the bootleg version, to be honest. This one is not so bad, but this looks weird. So, I mean, of course, you don't have to bend the knee that much, but I mean, as you know, these figures are not so cheap, so they should have been better. And here is also looking kind of weird, this left side compared to the right side. Like, you see the peg here, kind of. I mean, it looks like something that might happen there, but yeah. Other than that, it looks good. Now we will put them side by side and compare. So here are all the figures standing in neutral position. So first of all, while putting the Ben Reilly Spider-Man on a neutral position, I realized it really has much better paint and as well as the plastic quality. Because when I move the joints, it feels much more smooth and it's much more relaxed, you can say. It is really cool to put him in pose without any fear. But I can't say the same thing with the reissue. I think it is still more fragile. It's a bit, I mean, of course, a new figure, so the joints are going to be tighter, but still, I know when I got this guy, it didn't feel like that. So I can say this figure is still better than this reissue. So I can recommend the Ben Reilly figure very much, but I can say the same thing with this guy. I mean, it is the best look for me for a Spider-Man figure, so I had to get it. But I would recommend it if you get it for the retail price. I wouldn't pay it more than that. So I hope you managed your pre-orders and you already got this guy. So as you can see, the paint, the web lines are much cleaner here. Just the spider logo was missing, and I painted that with a black pencil, but other than that, the paint is near perfect. I mean, here, there you go. The arm pops off sometimes. That's the issue with this guy. I hope I don't have this with the reissue, but as you can see, the lines are much more clean. Let me zoom in more. It is just more black. It's more consistent. I don't know how to say this word, but as you can see from the hand, it's just more darker. It's just more visible. The neck especially, as you can see. And the head, they are the same, I guess. So they might improve the last head, but I think this is a bit bigger head. So I like this head better. It's a little bit bigger, more proportion, I think, but maybe there is some changes on the new reissued head. Other than that, yeah, they both are nice. And the red, I like also in the band really more. It is a bit darker red, so it's not so orange here. I hate this orange. Same with Iron Spider figure from Hasbro. I don't know why people companies keep using this light red instead of this darker red. So I prefer the Ben Reilly red much more. And of course, everybody compares the Mafex figure to Sentinel, even though they're very different looks. So of course, I prefer this look much more than the Into the Spider-Verse look. I mean, it's just animation. It's completely another world, of course. Some people like that as well, but I don't. But the figure, Sentinel figure, is much better. I mean, it's almost no comparison. This figure is, of course, more expensive, the Sentinel figure, but still it's worth it. I mean, you don't feel anything moving when you move the joints. It is nothing like I had before. It is really no comparison to any figure, how smooth it is. So probably most of you know that already from the other comparison videos or review from the Sentinel figure. It is not just we are saying it. It is literally the best quality 6-inch figure maybe ever made, really. And yeah, I mean, you will never worry about breaking this guy. Also, interchanging parts. It is all just so simple to make this work. It's just so easy. So the quality will never reach to Mafex. So the Mafex quality will never reach the Sentinel. Sorry, I said it other way around. So if you like the Into the Spider-Verse look, I would say get this figure instead of this. But I mean, if you like the comic look, of course, even though the quality issues, you're gonna be happy with this still. But if you can get both, then why not? So the proportions are very different. I mean, yeah, very, very different. And the posing, you can also pose the Mafex guy as much as this one, except this one has this spaces here, so you can move the legs like this completely on the back and kick your own ass. And Mafex, not bad. But yeah, Marvel Legends, much cheaper figure, but still it's good enough. The glossy plastic is disturbing here, as you can see. That makes you think that that's less quality. Of course, it looks more like a toy. And I painted the pins here, but we will get a new version of this guy without the pins, so it will look even better. The problem I have with this figure is the shoulders. I think they're too low. It looks kind of weird, not so muscled look. Anthony's Customs makes of always the photoshops and how it can look better. So if you're interested, check his videos. I can really recommend how he fixes the figures with the Photoshop. I just don't understand why the shoulders are like this. I mean, Mafex also doesn't have huge shoulders, but it's more proportion to the body, I would say. It could have been still a bit higher, but I think it's just wider and not so low. This low shoulders are the problem. Also, the ball joint here could be bigger. So, but it has nice butterfly joint. I mean, it's better than the Mafex one, actually, that it can go really back and forward. So that's the plus. And the Sentinel one doesn't even have butterfly joints. That's a big problem for me. That's maybe the only problem I have with this guy, because when you do this, you will have this gap here. But yeah. And yeah, I mean, Marvel Legends figure is, for the price, really good, you can say. I mean, if you can't pay so much, get this guy. I mean, now it's hard to get, of course, but you will get the new versions of this, the animated one, also this Renew Your Wolves version. That one has a big spider logo. I don't like that, but still, it's a good figure. So yeah. Next, we'll check the bootleg. I cannot say the bootleg is really bad compared to the original one. I mean, the plastic quality also doesn't feel so good. It makes even sounds, as you can hear. And there's a gappage here, even bigger than the original one. Almost same, but it has also on the other knee. And it's not shiny at all. There's a gappage here and everything. But I mean, if you don't want to pay so much money, bootleg works fine. And you can, yeah, make it look like this with the Mafex head. Or you can have this guy and put the head on this one. So you have them 2 times the classic Mafex Spider-Man. So I can recommend the bootleg one, definitely. And you don't have to worry about breaking it. It's not so expensive. And even if you had the comic version, I heard people breaking their figure and changing the parts like the wrist joint or the knees from that figure, from the bootleg figure. So yeah, I can recommend that one as well. And the legendary ToyBiz Mcfarlane Spider-Man. It's still holding up. It's crazy how many years it passed. I don't know when this guy came out. 2004, I guess. Can't really read that. Yeah, 2004. And still holds up. And the paint, you can see there's much more detail and there's much more just work put in this figure. Of course, this is sculpted by hand as well. I mean, it looks a bit like skeleton, of course, but still, imagine 2004 getting this figure. That's crazy quality. It has butterfly joints, finger articulation. Of course, this thing's doesn't function that well compared to the new figures, of course. You cannot move this that much, or the fingers are just weird when you have interchangeable hands, but still, for the time, this was crazy. I mean, the amount of articulation, the posing possibilities, it is just piece of art, you can say. And I'm glad to have this figure in good quality. I mean, no big paint issues or anything. So if you're a new collector, even if you are very, very young, if you're born in 2004 maybe, I can still recommend you getting this. And for older collectors, they mostly know this is a precious thing. So yeah, I mean, compared to Mafex, it can still fight with this guy, even though it's so old but still strong. So with the Mafex, we get many accessories, of course. That's not what you get with Marvel Legends or ToyBiz old Marvel Legends figures. So the head, the unmasked head, seems same. So I don't know if there's any paint improvement. I'm not a big fan of this guy. I think they tried too much with this hair pieces coming out, sticking out. I think it would have been better without that. So I'm not a huge fan of this, but still good we have it. So we have the same head with the earlier version. This has better paint in the lenses, you can say, compared to the other one. Here the paint is missing, and also on the other side a little bit. Yeah, and then we get some interchangeable hands and the web lines. I am not a big fan of these. I wish they could give us bendable webs. I mean, for the price, I think we deserve that. So we get the magnetic feet and stuff, which also has this plastic piece, so you can change it easier. That's great, and we get the base, of course. So that's for my review, and the next one is gonna be the Venom. I have the Venom, Mafex Venom. I will maybe compare him to other companies. It is not gonna be that close comparison because we don't have so many good 6-inch Mark Bagley style or McFarlane style Venom. My favorite one is Marvel Select one, still, I guess. So we'll see about that. So these figures are all great, and I can't wait to get the Mesco one. That's completely something else, of course, because of the cloth suit. But when I get that figure, there's going to be comparison with that as well. So see you in the next one.